Think your struggling peace lily might be a lost cause? Well, you need to watch this video. So despite there being tons of peace lily care videos out there on YouTube and socials, including my own that I know I've helped thousands of people with, I still get a lot of questions about how to actually save a struggling peace lily. Because let's be real, there is a big difference between knowing how to care for them and knowing how to bring a plant back from struggling to fabulous. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to bring a struggling peace lily back to life using this little girl. I'm going to bring her back to her former glory. So if you've been staring at your peace lily thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this, or maybe she's a lost cause, then stick with me because you're about to see step by step how to bring them back to fabulous. This is my beautiful peace lily Picasso, and this girl was absolutely stunning until she got too successful for her own good a little while back now. And I knew a couple of months ago that she had outgrown her pot, and I knew I needed to repot her, but unfortunately, I just didn't, right? I've just left it too long. These leaves here that you can see here, this is what happens when life gets in the way, unfortunately. And honestly, I just haven't been in the right headspace recently, things up and down in my private life. You know how life goes, life gets in the way. But this girl here, she's basically got a few things wrong with her. And she's just giving me the silent treatment for my procrastination, rightly so, I would say. AKA, she is just not a happy chappy. First things first, let's have a look at what is going on in total. And you'll see three very common problems in this plant. Yellowing leaves, I've got lots of yellowing leaves. Yellow, even this one up here is yellow, is not really healthy. And even the green leaves are not the luscious, strong green that they should be. They're not very vibrant, so that's not a good sign. I've got brown leaves are dying everywhere. I can probably just pull that one out. Yeah, see, there we go, brown leaves. My leaves are droopy, especially underneath. I think these ones here are giving it a little bit of, maybe looks better than it is because there's a few nice newish kind of perky ones at the top here, but lots of droopiness in the middle, on the outside edges. Oh, and that one's broken. Leaf is broken. Got a few things wrong. And if you know what a Picasso should look like, it should be leaves that are white and green in like a block kind of variegation. So this one here, can you see that one? In a white and green block, all of the leaves should be like that. But because it's got white in the leaves, it needs more light than probably your usual peace lily. So lots and lots and lots of problems. So I'm going to take you through one by one each problem that I've just mentioned, and I'm going to talk to you about how, or show you how I'm going to actually fix every single problem for my peace lily, starting by getting rid of a couple of things. Okay, so problem one, let's talk about the yellow leaves. Now, if you've seen a couple of my videos before, I have mentioned that yellow leaves can be a sign of a few different things, to be honest, but it really is just like the final result of a plant just letting go of what it needs to optimize its overall health first, which is why you'll normally see the yellow leaves happening usually on the outer or the lower leaves first, and the ones that have popped up the most recent will get all of the energy still. So that'll be the last one to go yellow in a way. That's normally what happens. But especially with a drama queen peace lily like this, there's one thing that people actually get really wrong with peace lilies to give them these yellow leaves, and that is inconsistency. Honestly, peace lilies are drama queens for a reason because they hate inconsistency more than anything else. They like to know where their next meal is coming. They like to know when the next watering is coming. And in my case, my inconsistency was probably the most consistent thing about my care over the last couple of months, if that makes sense. So she started looking a little bit sad and a little bit droopy. And I thought it was because maybe she wasn't getting enough light, because where I had her, you'll see, there's a big Thai monstera that is also growing huge leaves, and it started to outgrow its space too, well, it kind of still is, and it was giving this peace lily Picasso a bit too much shade. So I ended up putting her outside on my balcony. And I left her there, and it's winter here and it's been a dry season, and so she didn't get watered very often. And let's be honest, if you can see my balcony here in this picture, I didn't exactly make it easy for myself when I put it out on this balcony, as I can't even get through the doors with all of these big planted leaves. So Yeah, it was absolutely my fault that she's not doing very well, and yeah, she's giving me all these yellow and brown leaves because I didn't treat her like the queen she should be treated. So there she was, too cold, too dry, too miserable, left alone for too long. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry, little girl, I'm so sorry. But now she's giving me all these yellow leaves, telling me she's just had enough, and as I said before, rightly so. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to chop all of the yellow leaves off, all of the brown leaves off. The yellow leaves aren't coming back to green. They're not going to do anything. They've lost their life. I'll probably keep any leaf that is still 80 to 90% healthy, but the rest I'm going to cut up. I want to clear it out. So I'm just going to clean this up big time. So as you can see, I've given her a very, very big haircut here. I've gotten rid of a lot of bad leaves. Even if it was a little bit damaged, like that one you can see is, you know, still green, but it's got something, I think it's like burn or shine or been a bit too close to the light or something. So I'm literally starting from scratch. She looks a little bit lopsided, but that's okay. She's going to grow back to her former glory and she's going to grow more leaves. And once I finish today's video, because I've got a little bit more work to do, I'm going to pop her back into a warm spot again. I'm going to make sure she's got nice, consistent, like princess spa treatment almost, for a little while at least until we get to spring. And I'm going to watch very, very closely so she gets back to more of her normal growth pattern and more consistency from me. And when I say consistency, I don't just mean watering on a tight schedule every 5 days. Although, to be honest, out of all of the plants out there, peace lily is probably a good one to have a watering schedule if that's your way. But the best thing to do with peace lily, in my view, is water it consistently, as in wait for the pot itself, the potting mix, to dry out for about 50 to 75% of the way down, and then water it. So if that happens every 5 days, every 7 days, so be it. You got to wait. But the best way to measure is to wait for that potting mix to dry out, at least down 50, 75%, and then water it again. Make sure it's really hydrated when you do water it. And I'm going to give it a diluted fertilizer, 50 to 75% of my growth GT foliage focus, just to give her back her luscious leaves. Just remember though, if life does get in the way like it did for me, it doesn't make you a bad plant parent. Life happens to all of us, honestly, and plants just don't come with instruction manuals for when your world gets turned upside down. I get that. So do what you can when you can. Your plants will be there for you when you're ready to get back. And if they're unhappy, I can help you there too. Now, the second problem with this girl wasn't just the yellow leaves, but all of the leaves that I've cut off were significantly droopy. Now, for a while there, when I started noticing a little bit more about my peace lily just not doing well, I didn't give her the consistency she needed, but in these last few weeks, I did water her more consistently. And yet, even within a couple of days of me watering this plant, the leaves would get droopy again. And it's winter here, and that shouldn't be happening. It should be at least a week or more before this plant gets droopy. Basically, what that was telling me is, despite me watering, the plant isn't getting enough water available to take up in her roots. So that means one of two things were happening for me. Either she was overwatered, she was getting root rot, and she wasn't happy, but then she wouldn't perk up if that was the case. And she did perk up for a day or two and then went droopy again. But my guess is she is still a little bit root bound, or something else is going on in these roots, because she's just getting too droopy too quickly. So step one was cutting off all of the crappy dead leaves. Step two now is to go down to the roots and have a look at what's happening. I have not had a look at it yet. We need to get this girl out of the pot, see if I'm right, and see what we're dealing with. Right, so I'm going to push these over here. You can kind of half see them. There we go. Right. Now let's get this girl out. I have no idea what this is going to show me. Oh, oops, did I just break the pot? But that is, I mean, it's not as hard as what some plants that I've seen root bound, so there's definitely something going on, but let's have a look. Oh, yeah. That's kind of what I was expecting. Look. Don't worry about the dirt going everywhere. That's why we got the mat. But look. So, lots of white roots, but they also don't look the healthiest. It's definitely more root bound than I would like. And that's why she was going droopy in a couple of days instead of at least a week or so in winter. But these roots need more health. They need more watering, I think. So let me just, yeah, look at that. Look at all, that's just roots. There's roots everywhere. Yeah, so there was too many roots in the pot and not enough soil. So that means when I watered it, either the water wasn't getting into the middle of the plant, that can easily happen, or there wasn't enough soil or potting mix to hold the water for a bit of a longer period. So again, one way or the other, this girl just hasn't been getting enough water to the roots, and that's why I can see, very thin, flimsy roots as opposed to some of these thicker roots. So yeah, so we're definitely going to repot her. But what I want to do is I want to separate all of these babies, because when I repotted her a while ago, I actually did exactly that. And I took out some babies that either had no green or a tiny little bit of white, and I let them grow outside and I was going to sell them off. But one of them has actually done very, very well. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I get rid of any plant group here, because there's quite a few, right? There's quite a few plants in here. I want to take away any growth group that is all just green. And I want to leave a good mix of green and white. The greener the leaf, the more photosynthesis it's going to do, and it's going to get greedy in that pot. It's not going to let the white leaves grow as much. Now, I don't want fully white leaves, but I don't want fully green leaves either. So I want to take one of my babies that I've got outside that is actually doing very, very well. I'm going to add it back into this pot, and I'm going to get rid of some of those all green ones that are taking up too much space for my liking. Okay, so while I grab this little plant, I just want to say that if you are dealing with any yellow leaves on your plants, I've got a freebie that you might want to download. It's a diagnostic flowchart. It's basically just a one-pager. It's a series of quick questions, and it'll ask you in order why you might have yellow leaves to help you figure out and how to fix it. If you want to grab it, it's free in the comments in the show notes below. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, there we go. One day I'll get a studio to do all of this stuff in, but right now this is a real home with a real dining table that I'm doing this filming on, so bear with me. Anyway, so you just saw my plant. There's my cute little plant. So I'm going to add this one back into the mama plant, because she did very, very well, even though she's a little probably eaten by caterpillars. I think that's a caterpillar eat there. And I'm going to get rid of that one, actually. I might just do that right now. So I'm going to pop her back in the mother plant. I'm going to have a look at the roots of this one. There's also a tiny, tiny little baby there that's actually doing really beautiful variegation. And then there's one there that looks like it's about to go all white. And then there's a tiny, tiny, tiny one in the middle there that is all white. So we're definitely not going to transfer her over, because I don't want all white leaves. They just don't grow very well, and they go brown way too quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate out all of these little plant babies as much as possible. The roots are going to be thick, so let's do that. Now, the best way I find to get roots out when it's this root bound is, see how I'm doing it in a bit of a circular motion? There we go, there's one. That's what I try and do. So the old leaves, stems that I've cut off had some white, but now they're all green, so we'll put them over there. This one here seems to have an all white leaf. All right, let's separate some more. So around like circles. Feels a bit weird, but actually you can feel it moving, because if you just pull out, there's going to be roots that are like, you know, left, right, and up and down. So if you just pull one way, left and right, or you know, just straight, it's not going to work. So if you pull like in circular motion separately, I find that it just seems to help loosen the roots across the board, and it's a lot easier. Oh, there's absolutely no dirt in here. No wonder this poor girl honestly was not getting any water. There's absolutely no dirt. Considering how much roots there should be way more potting mix than this. Poor girl, I'm so sorry. Right, I am going to spend time separating out all of the plants if I can, because I just want the best of the best into the new pot, and then I might put some of the green ones back outside, especially when spring comes, because it'll get the right amount. It'll be in shade, it won't be in any light. Shade outside is just a beautiful place for plants to grow, shady spot. All my fingers trying to separate them out as easy as possible. There we go, that's starting to have traction. Circular, holding it at the base. Right, so that is an all white plant and that is an all green plant. Okay, I'm just going to separate that one out. There we go. Okay, so out of all of that, these three are the only ones that have got green and white variegated leaves. This, let's take out just the pure white ones. this and this and this and this. There's a lot of green there, see? Lots and lots and lots of green. So this is my beautiful peace lily potting mix. I mentioned the mix of everything that goes in here in my actual peace lily how to care for video. So I'll leave a link there. I always get them confused. If you want to have a look at that video, because that shows what's in here and the percentages for you if you want to make your own. So let's just quickly pot this guy up. So I'm going to fill it with a third. I'm going to pop these in first. That can go in the middle. That can go on the edge. Because as I said, I only potted it up a year ago. Oh. Let's get rid of all the old potting mix again. Let's just give it a brand new beginnings. Right, so I want the roots to be no more than half the pot. That's okay. There we go, there's my new beautiful little plant. Going to start again. Now, put things in around edges. Me patting the pot like that isn't gonna, it's fine. Just enough potting mix, woohoo! I love that. I feel like making potting mix is like baking. Are there any other bakers out there that feel the same way? I feel like making your own potting mix, you gotta get the ingredients right, you gotta get the right percentages right for it to be a really good mix. So, I don't know, reminds me of baking a cake. Put an emoji down below, put a cake emoji in the comments below if you think making your own DIY potting mix is similar to making a cake mix. I'll make baking a cake. Don't know why, I just feel like it is. So today I haven't just repotted this with its baby, I'm also going to move it to the brightest spot in my house. And that is just going to tip on to point number 3. I've talked a lot about variegation and bright light for this plant, but I also want to add one more problem child that a lot of people ask about, and that is peace lilies flowering. Now, flowers take a hell of a lot of energy. I was going to swear for a second then, but I won't. It takes a lot of energy from a plant. So if your plant is not healthy in the first place, it's not going to give you flowers. And the plant gets energy from its light. So if it's not getting enough bright indirect light, again, it's not going to give you flowers. You can give it all the fertilizer, all the food it needs, but if it's not getting enough energy from light through photosynthesis, then it's not going to give you any flowers. So if you want brighter variegation, if you want more white in your leaves, or if you want your plants to flower more, you need to give her consistency, but you need to give it a really good amount of decent, bright, indirect light. As I mentioned, even some bright direct light in the morning before maybe 10:30, 11, depending on where you live. If it's really, really hot, if it's the middle of summer, don't give it bright indirect light after 9 a.m. It can get really, really scorching, but you know where you live, so you know how hot the sun can be. But just a little bit of bright, direct morning sun, gentle morning sun can do wonders for a beautiful peace lily. So if yours isn't flowering or if it hasn't got enough variegation, give it more bright light than it's getting. You might even be amazed at the transformation that your plant will get. So there you have it. My beautiful Picasso now is properly Picassoed. It's a lot more white and green variegation. So after months of honestly struggling with my expert care on this poor baby, I'm now going to finally give her what she really needs, which is better drainage with the new potting mix. She's going to get better light. She's going to get a little spa treatment. She's going to get a lot of consistent looking after from me. And she's got a little reunion with her little baby as well. So hopefully this plant is going to be loving life. And I already think it's beautiful and it's like half the size it was before, but just I love the mottled, blocky, chunky white and green style of the leaves. It's just a beautiful plant. And you know, if you're watching this thinking, I've been struggling with my plants too, that's exactly why we're all here. None of us have it figured out and that's completely okay. So just remember, if life gets in the way, your plants will be there and I can always help you get them back. It happens, right? So there you have it, 3 peace lily problem tips that most plant parents, including this plant content creator, kind of got wrong over the last few months. So from here, I'm going to check back in a couple of months to make sure this reunion is going smoothly. And honestly, I'm confident because I'm finally listened to what she was telling me and I acted upon it, and she's got a nice, new, beautiful, aerated, beautiful peace lily mix. So tell me, what peace lily problems are you dealing with? Drop a comment below and let me know, is it droopy drama, is it yellow leaf chaos, or is it stubborn non-flowering or even not variegated enough? I want to hear your real world stories and plant struggles below. Honestly, keep sharing the experiments. I love to hear from you guys. I also love to know that there's people out there like me, and we all get better with learning from each other in our plant parenting. So that's it for my repotting today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave you here with the peace lily video that I've talked about. It has been popular, but if you haven't seen it, it's got a whole lot of different care tips on how to really look after your peace lily, whatever variety it is. And if you haven't already seen that video, then here's another link to another video of mine that I know you're going to love. Have an amazing week full of leaves, love, and laughter, more than you can handle ever. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in this next video. See you later. Bye. If not, I'm going to leave a link for you in one of these corners here. I can't remember. I think it's this one. No, this one.